welcome to the Dove Show. I appreciate you guys, man. Check me out.
I caught an L at a young age, stretched out. Getting 24, homie, I got 5 out. Now on YouTube, trying to get a paper route. Coming till you know the deal, we on some grown shit.
What's cracking, everybody? New video. Today we're gonna talk about prison, right? Everybody pretty much has an idea that prison is very dangerous. Prison in California is especially dangerous because of the politics involved, right? There's constant stabbings, usually in-house. Now and then there's riots. Really, right now, there's not as many. There's staff assaults all the time. It's just a lot of violence, right? Now, with that said, there are characters in prison that are so hilarious. There are incidents that occur in prison that are so hilarious. I've often told people, if they could put cameras inside the prison, any of the prisons, right? But mainly like the more serious prisons, and create a reality show, it would be one of the funniest and brutal shows there is. But if they just like focused on taking out the brutality and just showing the hilarity of it, I think people would be blown away. So I was thinking about a couple people today. I was remembering a couple people, and I said, you know what? Let me introduce you guys to those people. One of them I told you guys about before. Okay. This guy was in Pelican Bay, and he they called him Baya, right? He was a youngster. He was younger than me. Hadn't been in the shoe yet. He had gone from the reception center to Pelican Bay B Yard, so he was on B Yard with us, right? And he's one of the rare breeds you find in there. He was the habitual liar, right? Now, in prison, you do not want to be known as being a liar. You want to be known as someone whose word is good. That when you speak on something, people will be like, nah, that vato said it, it's legit, you know. So Baya was the complete opposite of that. Baya was that guy where if somebody didn't know Baya and they got on the yard and he told them a story like, hey, they're going to be doing this, the Huda's doing this and that. And then that, he told you that, and then you went not knowing him because you just got there and you told, like you have a homeboy on the yard. Hey, I heard the Huda's going to do this. Who said that? Baya, man, fuck that dude, homie, he's lying. You don't even know where he's at right now. That's the response you would get. And I told the story about Baya before. Baya used to lie about everything. He would just meet you and tell you a lie. It was the craziest. Like, if you're seasoned, then you know, like, oh yeah, this Vato's just trying to make friends. He's just gonna talk about anything just to impress you. To hopefully you'll be his friend. And so I'm going to reiterate the story that I told before where he was in auto body class, right? And like I said, he had never done anything yet. He was just a new dude on the yard that wanted to be something. But I think through stories more than through action. And in auto body class, he decided to have a disagreement with somebody who really was proven in the system. And he did one of those elementary school things where you go, what, homie? What? He did one of those numbers. He went, what? And the homie laid him out, right? And was going to kill him because, the vato made a threatening gesture to him so he could do whatever he, feels he has to do. He's defending himself. So he was going to kill the dude. And now the homies jumped in and like, hey, whoa, separated. Like, homie, no. Just, hey, You don't want to do that, homie. He's a fucking just a dumbass kid. But Baya was knocked out. So the homie that knocked him out, he said, open the fucking trunk of this car right now. Again, they were an auto body. So they opened the trunk. And the vato picked him up and threw Baya in there and slammed it, closed it. And he told everybody in there, if that vato comes out of that trunk today, I'm going to kill him. So when Baya woke up, he was hitting on the thing. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, come on, Holmes, let me out. They're like, nah, you're better off in there today, homie. Try again tomorrow. Not surprisingly, Baya wound up getting hit. He wound up getting hit later. You know, that's just the way prison is. You can only be a liar and a fat mouth for so long. Then they're going to test you. They're going to test your heart, see what you're willing to do, and put you in positions to where, you know, you got to prove it or it's hasta la bye-bye. You know, and so he got blasted, and that was it with Baya. There's another guy. I cannot remember this guy's name. But he ran around with the raza from down south, but he was a white dude, right? And this guy was those guys like Baya, they just want to be accepted. They just want to fit in. And this guy was a liar as well, but he was a great storyteller, okay? This dude, so we're in the concrete yard in Adsig, back when they used to have concrete yard, right? And, you know, homies are telling war stories about when they blasted somebody and, you know, hey, I whacked this vato, trip out on this vato. Hey, you know so-and-so? Yeah, homie, hey, whatever happened? Oh, man, I'm the one that hit him. Oh, yeah? What happened? Boom, oh, he, you know. And they're running down, you know, what they did and what the target's reaction was and, you know, just telling stories. And the storyteller decides he's going to tell his story, right? I don't even know why he was in Adsig. I'm pretty sure it's for something stupid, right? But he just tells a story where he says he was in R&R in San Quentin, okay? Now, remember, this is in 96. So San Quentin and Old Folsom are lower level prisons. San Quentin is a reception. Maybe he laid over there on a, you know, because a lot of times you lay over in Tracy or San Quentin. When you're going from down south to up north, like to the Bay, they'll lay over in usually San Quentin or Tracy. So he was probably on a layover or something. Who knows why he was there. But he wanted to tell a spectacular story because of all the stories he was hearing, right? And so he tells a story that he's in R&R and he's in the cage, and the cages are big, chained areas, right? And he says they kept him with his waist chains on and his shackles. He's chained up because, you know, he's a serious threat. And he says that they let this black guy in with them, right? And which is normal if you're not already in ad-seg or shoe status. You know, they'll do that. When you're ad-seg status or shoe status or something like that, usually they'll segregate. Well, this dude comes in and he says he has his waist chains on, his shackles and everything. He's fully chained up too. But where he decided he had to spice the story up was that he made the black guy in his story one of the legends for the blacks, you know, the Mojis. So, and so he's like, yeah, you know, I knew who he was. This guy didn't know who anybody was, right? But in the story, he knew who this guy was, you know, and he knew that because he was from this group, he had to get him, and he's gonna get him good, eh? So he said, you know, I'm walking around the tank, he goes, and I'm playing it off, he goes, and I know he's watching me because he knows, you know, he knows what time it is with me. He goes, but for a split second, he goes, something distracted him and he turned his head. He goes, and I dove on the ground. He goes, and I had a razor in my mouth. He goes, and I went. And he flicked it. He said, and he severed that guy's Achilles. He said he severed the guy's Achilles. He flicked the razor in his mouth to come out and was able to have enough force with the fucking razor blade to sever a full-grown man's Achilles tendon. And it doesn't stop there. One more story with this guy, right? Another time we're on the yard. And I don't know his name, man. I don't remember his name. But there was a homie on the yard. And we're just going to say his name was Psycho. I remember who it was. His name wasn't Psycho. But we're going to say his name was Psycho, right? The who that comes to the fence right there in that Sade yard. And he's like, hey, Psycho, I need you to sign this paper, whatever, right? And the homie's like, hey, what did I tell you about calling me by that name? Call me by my last name, man. My name is, and then he said what his last name was, right? We'll say it was Hernandez. It wasn't. But we'll say it was Hernandez. Just call me by Hernandez. That's my name. I don't know who that is. You're calling me. You know, he went on this thing because, you know, the Hudas could be trying to investigate certain shit, and they'll throw that name out there to see if you respond to it, right? And he did, like, you know, but anyways. So right after that, the Huda goes in. And then the white guy, the storyteller, his name was, let's just say his name, I don't remember it. Let's just say his name was White, right? So then the Huda comes out, checked already about calling people by their nicknames, comes out and says, hey, White, I need you to sign this paper. And he jumped up and goes, what did I tell you about calling me by that name? And everybody started laughing. They were like, that's your last name, fool. Go fucking sign that paper and get the Huda out of here. Oh, man. Holmes. So there's more incidents with White. But in prison, I'm telling you. And the last one is somebody, and I'm not going to say where he's from. His name was Weasel. Weasel, if you're watching, chingo, I could not stand you. And you know it. So I was on the yard crew, right? And, you know, I had some responsibilities there. I was with nobody, you know, like I've always said, people get it in their head. There's somebody's in there where they just have more responsibilities. That's it. They're the same person they were before. And so I had some responsibilities on the yard, right? And this Vato Weasel, I don't know what you call these kind of people, but Weasel would come up and he was, hey. He would do one of those to me, and I'd be like, fool, you want to talk to me? You come here. He'd be like, fuck, all right. And he would look around. And he'd come up to me and be like, hey, homie, hey. You want a sandwich? And I'd be like, why did you look around and why did you whisper right now, homie? The Hudas are watching us now because of how stupid you're acting. But do you want the sandwich? That fool would get at me. Hey. Like, what do you want? Holmes just, hey, do you know the date? Like, I could look back on it now and laugh. I could look on it even when he would walk away and I'd be irritated by him. And I would look at the homies and be like, how stupid is this dude? It was hilarious. But not at the time. You know, when you're trying to do things, I could have had dope on me. I could have had knives on me that I'm moving, that I'm burying, that I just pulled up, that I need something, you know. And I got this weird ass cat, paranoid as hell, looking around just to ask me if I want a sandwich because he worked in the kitchen. Just to ask me what time it is or the date. So that's just a glimpse. This video is longer than it needed to be. My bad, I apologize. Hopefully you're going to enjoy it. But that's just a glimpse at the characters that we deal with on a day-to-day basis in there. That doesn't take into account the righteously crazy dudes. Or the dudes that you witness go crazy on the tier. And the things that they do. But anyways, Everybody stay safe, stay smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, right? I'm out.